Sairam, and good evening, everybody. This is Richard Noble, and I am in Santa Ana at the Renee and Henry Sigerson Concert Hall, where Sai Baba has just appeared in a subtle form. So I was at a talk here. I sort of want to recap a little bit of what was said. It was really just, first of all, there was a gentleman here who sang a song called Sai Ma, and it was really about the mother aspect of Sai Baba and the loving, nurturing part of him. And when he was on stage singing this, I was closing my eyes and I was actually crying. Before this, Sai Baba came with Isaac Tigret and the Entourage, and I was hoping for like a diamond ring or something shiny. Really what I wanted to do is ask a question. If the handkerchief that appeared in my car materialized was from Sai Baba. I was driving down the 10 freeway and this handkerchief just appeared in front of me, and I grabbed it. There was nobody else in the car, and this is the handkerchief. And as Sai Baba walked by, I held it up and he came over and he went boop, blessed it. So I better get that in here because I don't want it to get soiled. So a lot was said. Some of the beautiful things that are happening is there's an ashram being built out by Stanford University in Silicon Valley. There's just so much amazing. The hospitals that are being built, the schools that are being built. The number one, besides my heart being cleansed with the crying that I did, I saw my parents and I looked at Kenny and I started to look at people with innocence and love. After the Sai Ma song was sung, and I was just like in tears, and I actually used a handkerchief to dry my tears. Isaac got up and talked a lot about thought forms and how anger and hatred and fear have collected in these thought forms. And he spent, I know that Phyllis Crystal and Isaac Tigret have spent years in meditation to try to disperse these negative thought forms. Saram, you're welcome. I'll be in touch. Yeah.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you, Saram. So Isaac Tigret and Phyllis Crystal have spent years doing this, cutting the ties work with the figure eight and the golden triangle in inner meditation. It's something that I use in trying to help people break away in freedom from heroin abuse, from opiate addiction, from alcoholism, from negative thought forms that they're attached to. And so all of this is about becoming non-attached to the physical world and our negative thought forms, and letting Swami, through his grace, come with love and be of service, build hospitals and build schools with pure heart and pure love to uplift humanity and to change the consciousness of our planet. That's what he's come here to do, and we're also blessed to have his love and presence in our lives. We want to try to think of all the things that Sai Baba said, and he really talked about, it's not the ashes on the eye, it's not the white clothing that we wear, it's not the songs that we sing or the prayers that we do on the Japa Mala that is most important. It's about finding people in our society, in our communities, and making a commitment through love to help change their life. And it's not by giving a sandwich, it's not by giving $3 a bill, it's about making a human connection with them. That is one thing that Isaac talked about. He pulled his cell phone out and said, this is one of the greatest evils of our time. It has really cut us off from one another, in that we need to get out of that. And he usually only turns his phone on when he's got to make a call. I sat with, in front of me was Bob Ozani. He's one of the world's famous Sai Baba devotees and a wonderful human being, love and service. I've met a friend I haven't seen in 20 years who plays an instrument at Sai Baba centers. I met another friend who Baba materialized a gold medallion necklace for him up in the Bay Area last weekend. They had driven up there. It's just exciting to be a part of a spiritual movement. And I was thinking, God, I'm really attached to my senses, and thank God I don't drink or do drugs or smoke anymore. They serve food, vegetarian food. I think it's a vegetarian burrito. All Sai Baba devotees, pretty much, eat vegetarian. And like Jack Hislop used to say, if you have an impulse or a compulsion or a desire that, I used to do it with drugs and alcohol, I would dedicate it to God, because it was only Sai Baba that could actually permanently remove that from my life and elevate me into more of a spiritual way of life. And I haven't had in December it'll be 10 years without a drink or a drug, and it's 4 years I think off of cigarettes, and I don't eat red meat. Occasionally, I still do Jack Hislop's prayer. But it's progress. We in AA say it's progress. Gratitude was brought up a lot. There is a lot of gratitude, and you could just see it overflowing out of the hearts of the men and the devotees that spoke, with the hospitals that they're building, and the schools, the high schools, and the service work they're doing for the homeless. The homeless was mentioned a lot today, and how can we feed people and get people, into learning a trade where they're employed and get out of homelessness. It's a problem. So overall, look at that hall. That's a concert hall. That's where Sai Baba came to, here in Santa Ana, California, and I hope that he will be back here next year. Oh, they're doing heart surgeries for kids in India. Apparently there's a lot of heart defects with babies. So they have free hospitals to have those surgeries and save lives. It's just one beautiful, loving, uplifting service project after another, and they just keep. The strange thing that I got a sort of a sense about is that when Baba says, and he has told his devotees, or they're getting the message in their head or their heart, where Baba says, okay, we're going to build a hospital, you just start seeing these projects start up. And at things like this, they'll do for instance, he made a proclamation that another heart hospital is going to be, or the cornerstone is going to be put in place. There's a mantra, there's a prayer, and so another children's heart hospital will be going up in Mumbai, India, and there are now beautiful service projects also happening here. Isaac was told by Sai Baba told Isaac to start a free hospital, I think in Jackson, Mississippi, so that's coming up. He seemed to be off in his own place today. He looked kind of angry. I don't know if that was my perception, but then when he got up and talked, it was beautiful and eloquent. I was actually going to interview Isaac, but I haven't had a time to. And part of that's my attachment. I have to let, again, all of my attachments go, because I am here as a Sai Baba devotee to get quiet and to hear him and follow him and do his will in life, and to be a good person. Yeah, I mean, here's some beautiful flowers. Like, they give out flowers, and then they're little gift bags when you leave. I got a couple for other people because I love giving spiritual gifts away. So, yep, there they are. It's good to be a part of a community that is of service with. Service and love without any money, no awards. It's not about getting awards. It's not about showing up and getting paid. It's about performing a heart surgery for free with love and saving a life, and then going on to the next heart surgery and the next heart surgery and doing it all for free. We're getting a lot of noise here coming. Let me see, is there anything that Swami wants me to say? I really asked Sai Baba a lot of stuff. We did the handkerchief. Yeah, we did that story. No, it's just really about being of love and service, having gratitude, being kind to each other. I thought a lot about my work in the treatment center with people that are addicted to drugs, and I want to put up a little in my work area. I'm gonna put up Sai Baba's pictures with flowers, and I'm gonna spiritualize the place. There's a lot of medical institutions and educational institutions that are sterile because they're institution and the heart energy is cut off. So hopefully with Baba's grace and love, I'll be able to open up that heart and start sharing love where there is none, in the hospitals and in the educational institutions and in the treatment centers, because it's only through love and Baba's transformational process that his work can be done, that we can get peace on earth in the next 6-7 years. They did talk about this is all laying the foundation for the birth of Prema Sai Baba, which is the third incarnation of the third avatar of the Sai avatars in a row, which is unprecedented in history with Jesus and God and Krishna and Muhammad, Rama, and it goes back. It's unprecedented that 3 avatars would incarnate in a row, and that's what's happening on planet Earth. It's really, the other thing that is unprecedented is that Sai Baba, in his physical form, before he left Easter Sunday morning in 2011, appointed somebody that would see him and will go around the world and be able to talk and tell us who aren't as spiritually developed what Sai Baba is saying and what he is asking people to do. And this gentleman goes around the world with Isaac Tigert and the men that start the hospitals and start the educational institutions, and his devotees. There's ashrams popping up all over the world. That's just, to me, a miracle that Sai Baba says it's going to be all these hospitals, and then they start being built. They have dedication ceremonies, and the resources come. They bought land up in Silicon Valley for the ashram. And I think that I feel like, part of my own personal selfless service and love is to go up there and to just leave everything I think I know behind, so that I could help Sai Baba and his hospital. So there's really beautiful music. Again, the Sai Ma made me cry. It was very heart cleansing, and I got to look at people with the eyes of love. My mom, my dad, people at work, Kenny, people that I've had a really hard time with in my relationships. Just that when you cry like that, there's a forgiveness, there's that innocence, there's that love where you can look at people that maybe your heart had been hardened to at some point out of a resentment or a misunderstanding. I do want to say that, who are we? Why are we here? Isaac talked about that. Why are we here? Why were we born? And we were born for self-realization. And we are God. We are embodiments of divinity, each and every single one of us. And when we serve someone else, we are serving ourselves. We are serving the God in somebody else. And when we make that connection and uplift them, we're uplifting ourselves. And that's ultimately how this world is going to get better. So somebody asked me in Palm Springs, can you ask the higher beings to come down here to help us? And the truth of the matter is that the highest of beings is on earth with us right now. And that higher being is you, and that higher being is me. And again, when I serve a homeless person or somebody that's hungry, when I'm walking them through their life to get education and to make a commitment to get self-employed and become spiritual in their life, I'm really serving God, I'm really serving myself. And when I do that, it creates this cosmic effect, a global cosmic effect whose ripples will just spread. And So again, it's really all about love. It's about serving with love, doing it without expectation of any financial reward, because that's not the reward. The reward is watching somebody heal. The reward is watching somebody become not homeless anymore. The reward is watching somebody get off of drugs, and that's all the whole reward, And that was a beautiful message for me to hear, because I do great things. I'm thinking like, where am I going to get my award? And then my award doesn't come, and the award, when you walk, for me personally, when you take a kid that's being bullied who becomes homeless, and with love you reach out to them, and then you walk them through their life to where they get a home, where they get away from being bullied, and they're in a place where their head's on straight, and they feel like, and they start to remember that they are God, that they are divine, and that they're not a homeless person. That's just all stuff we call homeless, but really lifting them up and giving them a sense of security and identity, that they, in their heart, is an embodiment of love and God, that they get to go on and be service to somebody else, and so on and so forth. So it's all these paying it forwards. Anyway, it's a beautiful thing to be a part of. Looks like there's a music hall right here too. I'm going to do 3 lokas, and it's loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds have peace and happiness. So the first loka was for me, the second loka was for the people around me, and the third loka was for the people around the world and all living things, to find peace and happiness. Sai Ram.